Hey, what's going on, guys? UrbanRetreat here. Now, the gameplay that you're going to be watching in the background is going to be one that I got probably maybe about a week or so ago. It was after about 2 months away from any Call of Duty, because since GTA 5 came out, I've literally spent pretty much all my time playing that, with the exception of lately having to play like some Resident Evil. I gotta go out and start recording some more Assassin's Creed for you guys. I mean, I started running out of all kinds of videos, being that I'm on the schedule, and it kind of helped clear out my hard drive and this and that, so it helped out a lot. But lately, I have been working 2 jobs, if you guys didn't already know. I was doing one with, hold on just a second, brain fart. I have one working with a company called Vector. You guys may or may not have already heard of it. They try to recruit a lot of high school students, like people just getting ready to graduate and stuff like that. They do a lot of recruiting that way. And I ended up I've heard about them before, and I've tried it out, and I'm not doing too bad as far as sales and stuff go, but it's not enough to like continuously pay my bills. Like, I've made maybe 150 bucks in like a month and a half, because I don't have I'm not in a good enough area to make decent money selling it. It's not that I have problems with sales, it's just I don't have, like, the sales I do get are nice, but it's hard trying to find those people that can buy. So I figured, with that in mind, I would go ahead and start trying to find another job. And it was actually causing problems because I didn't have enough money coming in, and just whole big problem there. I'm not going to really get into it right now. So I ended up going down the street, seeing there's a tire shop down the street from me that had a help wanted sign out. And it was basically just saying, you know, we need people, you know, we're struggling around this time of year, this and that. And so I went in, I applied, I gave them my resume, the application, and I ended up hounding these guys for, I think, 2 weeks. Of just going in like every couple days saying, hey, have you looked at my application yet? Have you looked at my application yet? And every time I'd go in there, they'd be like, oh, well, we haven't got around to it yet. And I think after like the two and a half weeks of me just doing that, they just finally got tired of me going in there and asking them about it. So they ended up scheduling an appointment, or not an appointment, they ended up scheduling a time like right then and there to do an on-the-spot interview. So I went through, I did the interview, I got the job, and I started on not Saturday, sorry, that was my other job. Started the tire shop on Thursday on the 7th, today is the 12th, so it's almost been about a week. And I was going through, doing normal things, you know, tire mounting, dismounting, balancing, rotation, oil changes, you know, you name it, like basic stuff like that. I've been going through doing a lot of those. And actually yesterday, on Monday, I got in trouble, as you can see by the title of it, I got in trouble for driving a 5-speed. Now, if you know a little bit about me, and you probably don't, but here's a little bit of background for you. I am 21, and I haven't had a whole lot of experience with 5 speeds. I've just gone through, like, I just know like the basics about it, but I've never actually driven one until the other day, until yesterday. So when I first started out, I had a job at a tire shop, and I was 18 and a half. I was like 18 something, and I was going out working at them, and then I kind of realized that there were a lot of 5 speeds coming in, you know, stick shift stuff that I couldn't drive. I knew enough to get them started, but I didn't know enough to move them and actually, you know, get them to a destination where I was actually going to try to move to, right? Can't confirm. So a little while went by, and I ended up having to always go in and say, hey, you know, you got another 5-speed, I can't move it, this and that. And I started doing that a lot. I noticed in this area, at the tire shop I'm at now, has a lot of 5 speeds coming in all the time. So I figured what I would do is, instead of always having to go back in, because I've already, like I said, I've only been there not even a week yet, and I've already had to go in several times to say, hey, I can't bring the car in, can we have someone else do it? And they don't have clean hands, so then it ends up resulting in them having to go wash their hands and me having to wait, and it's just a lot of time consuming stuff and we're wasting time, right? So I was doing my normal duties, you know, putting tires on, doing whatever, sweeping up, whatever the case was. I don't remember exactly at this point, and even though it was only yesterday. But I was just going through, doing whatever, and the service manager come out and said, hey, we have this car outside, needs 4 tires on it, it's a Chevy. Can you go ahead and bring it in for us, and we'll get it going. Bring it around the back of the shop, and we'll go from there. So I said, alright, I took the keys, I went out, and I got in the car, and I noticed it was a 5-speed, and it was about an early 2000, I want to say about a 2001, 2002 Cavalier, because it had that body style. And I was going through, I noticed, like I said, that it was a 5-speed, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, well, rather than having to keep going in all the time and saying, I haven't done this before, can we get someone out here to move it? Because no one told me when I first started, when I first started working at a tire shop and being around 5 speeds, that you actually had to hit the gas as you were letting off the clutch. Nobody ever told me that. They just told me you have to hold the clutch to start it. Not a problem. So I'd get it started all the time and I'd stall it out when I was younger. Well, after I ended up losing that job at the other tire shop when I was 18 because I didn't like the way they were treating me. Like, they were treating me like a kid, and like I was moving my shit, and just, it was irritating. So I ended up losing that job because I pissed them off, because they pissed me off. But somebody ended up telling me that, you know, you actually had to hold the clutch, or like let off the clutch as you hit the gas to move them. And that was all fine and dandy, but after they before they told me that, I lost that job. So I didn't have any supply of 5 speeds to even try it out on. So I kind of retained the knowledge for a little while and went through, and kind of jumping back to yesterday, I'm sitting in the car, I'm thinking, okay, I know how to do this, but I've never actually attempted it with the knowledge that I have now. So I went through, I put it in reverse, I backed it up, put it in first, started moving, and I realized, like, I was hearing this sound, like, if you guys leave me a comment down below if you guys know a little bit about cars and you know what the sound of grinding brakes is. It was kind of like that, because I forgot that people that drive 5 speeds tend to use their parking brake a lot more than people that use automatics, because automatics already have a gear to park in, and a 5-speed, you know, you just put it in gear or reverse, whichever the case is. Like, you leave it in gear, in A gear, and you 9 times out of 10 hit the parking brake if you're on a hill, whatever. So I didn't realize that, and I know somebody's already going to be thinking to yourself, well, how many times did you stall it? Or you're already writing a comment right now. I don't know. But I only stalled it one time, because when I heard the rear end dragging, like I said, it sounded like brakes grinding. I kind of looked down and noticed that the parking brake was on. And rather than being able to just grab it, hit the button, like grab it, pull up, hit the button, and release it, this guy either had it so tight that you couldn't do that, or it was just that stiff. I don't know. But I went ahead and trying to release it. I actually had to use both hands to pull it back enough to hit the button and release it. That I let my foot off the clutch, I stalled it, and I pulled it in. And it went fine, just like driving an automatic. It was really nice and smooth and easy. But I ended up getting yelled at because they weren't, like, as soon as I pulled it in, I didn't know how to, like, I was trying to balance between keeping it running and pulling it in. And I haven't quite mastered getting it in centered yet. And then, you know, they're trying to direct me through it, and guy actually came through and seen that it was a stick, and I was messing with it, and he's like, well, I thought you said that you didn't know how to drive stick. And I said, I don't. Like, I know how to do it, but I've never done it. And I was sitting there, you know, worried that I was going to lose my job because it was the owner's son that was yelling at me for it. I'm thinking, this is not going to be good, this and that. And a few hours later, a few hours went by, and his mom, because she owns a place, or she runs a place too, went through and just kind of showed, you know, gave me a list of what days I was working, this and that. So everything panned out good in that respect. So what I want you guys to do is just go ahead and leave me a comment down below if you've ever gotten in trouble for something that you weren't supposed to have been doing and how that turned out for you. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. I know it wasn't kind of let in right, but hopefully you guys did enjoy it, and I'll catch you guys later. I'm out.